Hi everyone. Allow me to begin today's speech with a real voice. Our land is not just a land, it is the core of our culture, the spiritual anchor of our ancestors, and the hope for our future generations. This statement reveals the deep bond between indigenous peoples and their ancestral lands. It has formed over thousands of years and supersedes modern idea of property. The land holds their stories and traditions. They get both physical and spiritual support from nature there. For them, a nuclear waste repository plan is not just an environmental concern, but an attack on their identity and heritage. It's like a knife to the community's heart, cutting ties to the past and thwarting their future. They must fight for their cultural legacy and the land's purity and respect. These are the words of a leader from Canada's 23 Indigenous community, protesting against a proposed nuclear waste repository on their sacred land. Now, imagine your own hometown being designated as the site for such a project. Would you choose to protect your home or accept the economic promises made by a corporation? This is not a simple choice. It is a profound question that modern business ethics must address. Today, I will tell you through the evolution of business ethics and analyze the core issue of the 23 case and share global insights on how businesses can balance profit making with social responsibility. The evolution of business ethics has never stopped. In 1970, economist Milton Friedman argued in the New York Times Magazine that a company's sole responsibility is to maximize profits for its shareholders as long as it adheres to the law. This idea provided clarity during economic crises, but its limitations soon became evident. For instance, in the 1980s, Shell's environmental destruction in Nigeria sparked global outrage, demonstrated the irreversible consequence of neglecting corporate social responsibility. In 1984, Freeman proposed the stakeholder theory, which expanded corporate responsibility to include customers, employees, communities, and the environment. This shift from single goal to multi stakeholder governance marked a significant transformation. However, balancing the needs of various stakeholders remains a major challenge. In the Treaty 3 case, the company's economic goals directly clashed with the community's cultural preservation, exemplifying the complexity of putting stakeholder theory into practice. In the 1990s, corporate social responsibility (CSR) emerged as a vital tool for translating ethics into action. Carroll's CSR pyramid classified corporate responsibility into economic, legal, ethical, and philanthropic levels. While this framework offered clear guidance, critics like Bank argue that many companies use CSR as a PR strategy rather than a genuine commitment to responsibility. In the 23 case, the companies promised to invest 500 million Canadian dollars in environmental protection lacked an actionable plan, raising doubts about the sincerity of its CSR efforts. Treaty 3 is a region in Ontario, Canada, considered sacred by Indigenous communities. This land is not only their cultural heritage, but also their spiritual foundation. Yet, a nuclear waste management company proposed building a waste repository here, claiming it would create jobs and increase tax revenue. Data from the Global Atlas of Environmental Justice show that similar projects in other areas cause groundwater pollution, with radioactive contamination going up to 20 times the safe limit. This increased local worries about water safety and environmental harm. More importantly, indigenous groups felt the project ignored the cultural importance of their land. The company did not provide a full environmental study, especially about possible risks to groundwater. Its financial goals clashed with the community's calls to protect their culture and environment. The promised 500 million investment in environmental protections was unclear about how the money would be used or how long-term monitoring would be done. And how can such conflicts be resolved? Germany has implemented strict policies for nuclear waste management, requiring independent third party audits and public access to all evolution data. This approach has significantly increased public trust. In Australia, a mining company signed a land sharing agreement with indigenous communities, protecting culture sites while sharing economic benefits through revenue distribution. This model is now considered a benchmark for corporate community collaboration. This in Norway, the state-owned energy company State Oil established a 100 million annual environmental fund to support local communities and renewable energy projects, easing environmental tensions and enhancing corporate social capital. To address the Treaty 3 case, the company could take several corrective measures. First, it should release environmental assessment reports through an online platform, update projects' progress in real time, and involve independent experts for audits. Second, a community led oversight committee should be formed through elections to ensure indigenous voices are included in decision making. Finally, the company should establish a cultural preservation fund and develop a continuous environmental monitoring plan to demonstrate its long term commitment to responsibility. The evolution of business ethics has shown us how corporations are moving from a singular focus on economic goal towards embarrassing broader responsibilities. Yet, the gap between theory and practice remains significant. In the future, companies must build trust through transparent mechanisms, adopt participatory decision-making models, and integrate measurable, sustainable social responsibilities into their core strategies. Imagine a future where corporations not only pursue profits but also become true partners in social progress and environmental stewardship. By fostering transparency, collaboration, and long term commitment, business can redefine the meaning of success and strengthen their role as advocates for society and environment. Ladies and gentlemen, the evolution of business ethics reminds us that bridging the gap between theory and practice requires transparency, collaboration, and accountability. Let us work together to advance business ethics from a theoretical framework to real world impact, shaping a fairer and more sustainable global business landscape. Thank you.